their problems, their issues, and what kind of benefits we can do as a human being to the vulnerable. Generally, we notice that the people who are migrants, they come from different parts of the nation. If we observe India, slums are high in every state. If we observe Hyderabad, Telangana state, Maharashtra state, Chhattisgarh, so many places we notice how much it has been developed. One part of the city we notice a developed high-profile buildings and well sophisticated environment we notice. At the same time, the other area we notice the vulnerable slums. Why these slums and how, what kind of government support is giving to these slums? Generally, people were unable to bear the rents in the sophisticated places, as they're mostly laborers and also auto rickshaw fellows, and who are very vulnerable, who are economically downfallen, they're underprivileged. So they cannot afford in the clean environment and they have a comfortable life. So they take the shelter in slums. As I'm working for slums, the Life Foundation is mainly concentrating, that is focusing on slums, and I'm working for their upliftment. Then I have done a great research on these people. I noticed they are very in a very vulnerable and traumatic situation. So if we observe that they are, I can say they are occupying, that is illegal places. These places cannot be said that they are legalized people for that area. They stay illegally. That is, the land doesn't belong to them. It is occupied places. In any slum, if you observe, it is occupied place. And there is no proper sanitation. There is no sanitation facility. There is no proper electricity. There is no electricity at all. And if we observe, we move to the slum, we don't find good drainage system. It is open drainage system. The sewer, there is no proper sewage system, and there is no proper collecting of the garbage, the waste. We notice a heap of garbage will be at one side, and it is very pathetic situation. The slum, they're facing a lot of problem, especially with the malnutritious diseases. The children are malnutritious. As the parents cannot afford good diet, the balanced diet, they cannot provide to the children, and most of the children are suffering from malnutritious diseases. And the woman who is pregnant, she is unable to consume good diet and make the child to be healthy. And moreover, if we observe in slums, we notice the child marriages. And the children are getting married below 18, and they're becoming pregnant at the very young age. And the children, girl children, especially in slums, are not educated. Parents are not interested to give them good education. And mostly the children of 7th class or 6th class or 8th class, not even reaching to 10th class. And at that age, they're getting married and their qualification is only 5th, 6th or 4th, like that. And they do not know what is healthy diet, that is balanced diet. They do not know about the reproductive system, how to take care. And they're not aware of any, there is no proper health care, and no doctor, no nurses are taking care of them. And I observed that there is no proper clinics nearby. They cannot come to high-profile clinics where middle class and upper middle class and even elevate people are using. And government hospitals are there, but there also they're finding very difficult to have good health care. And mostly they're not even moving to the hospitals for maternity, and they're taking, the midwives are taking care of these women, and we notice that that is deliveries are taking place at home. There is no proper medical facilities no hygienic conditions. I moved to the slums and I checked the houses. You can see my background, their houses. That is one of the slum women house. There is distributed the quilts for the slum women and old men. And you can see the worst conditions. The house is of not of good material. They're not having proper walls. And some houses are with asbestos, completely walls, roof is with asbestos, and some houses with the thatched. And if you go inside, there is no proper roads. There is no internal roads. There are no roads connected to the main roads. And that is with full of mud, very narrow roads. And I noticed that there is no proper sanitation, as I said, no toilet system, and they moved to some far off place, far off means near to the houses, and that entire place will be with the, because of the no proper toilet system. If we go and observe the slums, we can understand how pathetic they are. So what can we do? So women need to have good health care, and children, girl children, to be educated. That's why the Life Foundation has set up the study centers in the slums, and we're trying our best level to impart good education. We want to educate girl children and boy children equally. There is no gender disparity. If boy and girl are educated, they will understand the importance of life, and that will be ignited in their minds, and that will turn up into a chemical reaction that will be ignited to other minds of the young children, and they feel that one of my neighbor child is studying, I need to study. So that kind of awareness will be brought up when we set up study center. That is what happened in the year 2019. I started the study centers with 30 students, and by 2022 it reached to 150. And parents also showing to send the children to study centers and schools, and they came to know very soon that the importance of education. And slums are so vulnerable as they come from different parts of the nation, especially due to industrialization, civilization. Many industries have been set up, many companies and factories have been developed in the urban areas, and the people who are illiterate, who cannot lead their life peacefully in the rural areas, they migrate to the cities to in search of the job. And they try their best level to grab some job, as they're not highly educated. And I said that there will be daily wage labors and all. And what they work in the farms, in the factories, in the industries, and they work hard and earn money. And most of the men, after earning the money, as they feel that we have done a great hardship, and they move to liquor shops, wine shops, and slums. A very funny thing is, the people are vulnerable, economically poor, but they are not saving the money, they are not supporting the family, but men move to the wine shop, to the liquor shop, Gudumba shop, to have they're addicted to the drinks. So alcohol, they're addicted to alcohol, and they consume and come home and they sleep. They're not in care of their family. And what about their wife? What about the children? They're not aware of. But I notice in the slums, most of the women is taking the responsibility of the running of the family and seeing that the children are getting educated. But still, many women still backward. They want their girls not to be educated because they feel that it is a burden for them to get a good education for the girl children, because they had to spend some money on education, and during marriage they have to spend some money, and they're very economically poor and they cannot afford all these things. And they feel that boy, if he is educated, he will take care of the family, and the girl is of other family, and she has to go to that family and she may not take care of us. This kind of notions been high in the minds of the rural women, especially who are not educated, and they're not helping the girl children to be educated. But it is 550 acres of land the slum which I have adopted. I moved from slum to slum and I'm started educating the women especially that you have to impart education. You have to make your children educated. Girl and boys should be equal. And there is no gender inequality. Gender inequality. There is gender equality and boy and girl to be educated. Then slowly it is making them to understand and realize the situation and started sending even girl children. So minority Muslims are also sending their children, girl children to our study centers and seeing that they will be having good education. So women, as I said, they're economically not supported by the men, and women need to have some economic status. That means she has to be strong in economics. Economically, she has to be strong and she has to support the family, having the children good education. And they came to know, the woman, the slum women came to me and said that we are finding very difficult. We have to take care of the children. They're small children. We can't go as work in the factories and industries as they're far off. And so what can we do? Then I thought it's better staying at home and doing some work, supporting the family. So we have set up the tailoring center, free tailoring center. And recently I went there. Of course, I go frequently. And recently, again on 7th December, we have provided 4 more sewing machines. And we came to know that 20 women have learned good tailoring and they started their own income. So then more number of women are joining and they started taking up the tailoring as their supporting income. And also we are trying our best level to start choppies and this candle making and all. We are trying to implement and we want to support. So this is only a slum of Hyderabad, I'm saying. So in this way, every educated, every humanitarian, every anthropologist, if they focus on the slums, along with the government, we can empower them. And if you see the slums, especially, as I said, there is no electricity. I said, how do you, even we run the education centers and what about the electricity? So I have inquired even the slums of other parts of the states and came to know that there is no electricity in slums. But as they cannot be, as their houses are not legal, they cannot claim the power from the government. They grab the power from the main electric wire. It's very dangerous. So they see that their houses will be lighted well by this electricity legal way. So then don't do that, I said. Then they said it's very, how can we get the electricity, madam? Government did not provide. The other thing we noticed that in most of the slums, water facilities, drinking water facilities not available in the slums. They're facing a lot of problem for the safe drinking water. We know drinking water should be very safe and hygienic because there are many waterborne diseases. And so we notice that most of these slum people fall sick because of the waterborne diseases as they're not supplied by the government. There is no municipal water supply in slums. So a few slums in which are near to the city, the government is trying to supply the water through tanks. That 2 alternate days or 2 days once they get the water and they have to fill the water, each house only 1 drum. It's very difficult. You know, the slum is highly dense, highly populated. If you go to the slum and observe their houses, there is only single unit room. So the room which I showing to you now, my background, that is one house. You can see, can we call it as a house? It is a single room house and their grandmother, grandfather, parents, children, relatives, everyone reside in the same place. Whoever come from the urban areas for the placement, job purpose, they stay in their houses. It is highly populated, that's densely populated, and their houses are side by side. Next to the asbestos sheet, we find another house. Closely packed up houses, we can see there is no proper aeration. You can't observe even fine oxygen. That means there is a thick, dense population and there is no proper aeration, and there are no proper trees to supply good air. That is also a big problem. They're suffering a lot. So many problems are there. There is no proper electricity, no proper sanitation, no proper roads, no proper education, no medical facilities. They cannot claim anything from they cannot get the benefit from the government. Only few slums government noticed, and they have provided some good houses, that is the government policies, that is the government sector that try their best level to construct some houses, some 10 to 12, 10 to 12 or 20 or like 100 houses, and they see that they will be placed. But there are very less. Still, many more slum people are still vulnerable. They're deprived. They're staying in the same sick environment houses. And mostly the slums, if we observe, only in few places, few states we notice in good area. Good area in the sense, not landslides or hazardous zones. For example, the slum which I have adopted, it is not of a hazardous zone. Only thing is, I notice poor sanitation, unhygienic situations. You find a lot of pigs, buffaloes, all types of animals will be moving around. I would like to cite one live example. The pathetic story is that the houses which I have adopted, one child of 4 years, the mother and father went out in the morning for as a daily wage labors, and they went out, and by evening 6 o'clock they returned. They came to know, they noticed that the child died, means the child was killed by pigs and dogs, and all the intestines were out, blood was flowing. And see, just adjacent to the house, they left the child in the house. They thought every day he will be playing along with his sister. And the boy came out for urination, and these animals attacked. Very horrible situation it is. There is no hygienic. There is no security for the children. And one more thing is, as these people, the migrants, they come from different parts of the nation, and they're with different backgrounds, different habits, and there is no security. In the slum, if I ask who is your neighbor, from which place they have come, they say we do not know about them. Very recently, they have taken a rent in this house. And the incident was so horrible. The boy who is from a nearby place, that is Nalgonda, he stayed in the neighbor's house, and he has grabbed the girl of only 6 years, and he raped her brutally and killed her very brutally. And when inquired, you do not know about that boy? No, he never used to talk. He used to lower his head. He used to walk so quietly. We thought very innocent. We do not know. The slum people do not know the mental condition of their neighbors, because they're not staying for a long period in that. They're migrants. They move from place to place like nomadics. Wherever they have financial benefit, they move. And they're not legalized. There is no other. We cannot. He commits crime and he vanishes. So many girl children in the slums have been raped because of these conditions. There is no security. So very vulnerable, very pathetic situation. If you move to the slums, tears roll in our eyes, the conditions in which they are living. There is no proper food. What the food they take only, of course, a jowar roti in slums, some slums, but many slums they take only the starchy liquid. So there is no proper diet. I go and supply fruits, they will be very happy with banana or apple. So that is a condition. So slums are very vulnerable and very pathetic. There is no proper education, as I said. So government has to take proper care regarding the slums, and they have to look at how best they can support the slums. And they make it legalized and provide them proper places or houses, and so that these crimes will be can be avoided at least. Because if they have permanent address, they're so scared. If they have Aadhaar, PAN card, or bank account, and they're recorded in the names are recorded in the government, then they will be scared. But these people names are not recorded in the government. Okay, they can commit any kind of crime. So I feel that government has to take proper care and study the slums. We know that slums in every part of India, especially India is the third largest having slums, and in a very vulnerable situation, pathetic situation. After knowing that also, the government has to take proper care. And if really government think that they are the good vote bank, thousands of people stays in slums and they can have good vote from them. So let the government take proper care and make it legalized, and they provide good houses for them and support them to have good hygienic conditions by developing good roads, sanitation, education, and proper health care, medical facilities to be provided. If the government they can do. See, as I'm running one NGO, I cannot set up all these things to the every slum. So I feel that we can support the government in making the slums to be legalized and having the right of property and right of good education, and what other people, common people, are enjoying the comforts. They too have every right to lead a prosperous life, peaceful life, with all facilities, I feel. So it is a responsibility of the government, also humanitarians, to focus on slums, because the slums, especially, as I said, they are in hazardous places and landslides places and low-lying areas. So the flood zones. So many of the people die because of the landslides, because of the toxicity, the toxic chemicals released in those areas, so they fall sick. And sometimes because of the high crowded and highly polluted environment, that will be a zone for diseases. So many diseases will spread from those slums to the urban places, and many people fall sick. So it is a responsible government to clean the slums and make them to be in a very dignified, to lead very dignified life in a good places with all facilities, I feel. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity, Rajarao sir. It is a great platform. So I'm very much thankful to Dr. Rajarao Garu especially.